Well, what's the crack? How's it going, everybody? And welcome to Harden Up Podcast, episode number 10. I'm Tom Mahony.
Can't believe it.
Hey,
Colgan. Sorry, I've already cut across you, Tom. I've already ruined the intro.
Do you know, and you didn't ruin the intro, Owen, because that's what people want from us. They want natural. Au natural.
They want natural and raw.
We're getting harder, as you would say.
How was your week so far?
My week.
Exactly.
My week. It was good. It was good. I mean, as per, now we can go anywhere in our county or 20 kilometres. I'm not really sure. People think it's anywhere in your county or 20 kilometres. Which is it? Is it 20 kilometres in your county?
I was talking to the parents today. They think it's 20. They think it's your county and then 20 kilometres on top of that. So they're planning to go to Tuam tomorrow for some reason. And they've never been there before, I think. But I think it's inside your county. As far as I know, you can't leave the county. But they're on about going somewhere further outside their own county.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you can travel. They didn't just jump from 5k to anywhere at all in your own county and then 20-minute k beyond. Because sure, in Cork, Galway, or fucking Mayo, that could be 3 hours. You know what I mean, of driving.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think it's just in your county for now. But I'd say there was word there recently that they were going to lift all the bans completely and let people travel wherever they want. It's going to be weird. But I was driving through a town there up the road, Castlebar, and it's kind of getting busy again. People are out shopping. They're carrying their bags with them, smiling. But everyone's wearing masks and they're a bit cagey. Yeah,
but they're cagey in Castlebar anyway, Owen. You know what I mean? They're a cagey bunch. Yeah. But
lads going around with guns, Tom. Machine guns, stand back from me. It's a funny situation now though, because people do look at you in a funny way, as if to say like, don't come too close to me. I was in Lidl there today and there was like an owl lad and he kept getting in my way, but I was like, well, he's an owl lad, so I'll respect my elders. He kept kind of cutting in front of me, so I was like, if he does it again, I'm not going moving out of the way. So we were closer than two meters.
Was he taking the piss, do you reckon? Going, sure, I'm all old and shit, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was taking liberties with his age, and fair enough, like I gave him about 3 goes, but when it came to the cheese aisle, I was getting my cheese whether he liked it or not.
Do you know what? I mean, a man is a man regardless of what age he is. Like so you gave him 3 chances, like that was,
That was plenty.
That was plenty. That'd be a great t-shirt. 3 chances.
Yeah.
Plenty for you.
3 chances is plenty.
I started watching a TV show, the 3rd series of a TV show. I don't know, did you ever see it, called Westworld? Did you ever see it?
No, I have never seen it because people keep on about it and I think I'm too far behind at this point to watch it.
Eri, you could find it and get on board, but it's it sounds shite, but it's actually very good in that it was based on an old movie and tis a fantasy island basically out in China, and it's owned by an American company and they're all robots on it, good looking fucking robots on it, and it's called Westworld because they have the West country and Western world, and by that I don't mean Philomena Begley and fucking Nathan Carter singing songs the whole time. I mean there's cowboys and Indians in one world, and they've war world, and they've another world, and samurai world, and they've all these different worlds, and you can go and live out your greatest fantasies. You can cut the head off anybody you want, you can ride whoever you want, do whatever you want, right? Now at the 3rd series, it's looking bad for everybody all around because you can see it's coming.
Yeah.
The robots are going to fucking turn on them. And that's always what's going to happen. And by the 3rd series, Joanne has fucking ruined the show. She's gone killing humans all over the place. But I was thinking to set a parody one in Mayo called Westworld.
Yes. I like it already, Tom. You've sold me.
I'm just trying to think, what would Mayo people's wildest fantasy be? Like, would it just be they get in there and there's a full Croke Park and they'll keep winning the All-Ireland one day after another, like just continuously, at least 50 times in a row anyway?
Well, I'd say, to be honest, living out here in like the north of Mayo, people love tractors out this way. So if you could have some sort of bionic tractor that you could, it's like a transformer where you could be out in the field drawing bales, and then in the daytime you could just kind of morph back into a robot and then probably kill a few lads along the way. But the All-Ireland would probably come a close second, yes.
So that's our next venture, is to create, as soon as Elon Musk creates fucking AI, we just get a load of them over and set them up in the west of Ireland, fucking winning the All-Ireland and driving tractors.
You'd make an absolute fortune. I don't know, has Elon Musk ever been to the west of Ireland, but I don't know what to make of Elon Musk, to be honest. Is he dodgy?
I think he's dodgy, yeah. He's
got too much money at this point.
They're all lunatics at that stage anyway, do you know what I mean? Because he's wandering around the fucking place like without planning permission or not. Like, did he get a planning permission for that old fucking rocket? Probably not. Do you know, but he
didn't.
I think Elon's at a place now where even the big boss men in government are going, did you give him? I didn't give it to him anyway. I didn't give him permission to do that. Well, fuck it, he's built now. So, where should go on?
Yeah.
He's the mad fucker. He went tunneling under LA. Did you see that? Did you see that fucking thing? He bought a site.
It was something to do with like kind of high speed motorways, was it?
Yeah. But he didn't get no fucking permission or nothing. He was driving along. Just started digging. I mean, I know often a man needs to go down the field with a pickaxe, you know, just to get some some fury or whatever. Like, but apparently he just bought this old plot, bought a tunneling machine off some Dutch fucker, and just went, I'm building tunnels now, yes? And off he went fucking building tunnels. And when they came to him going, whoa, stop the fucking show here, Elon. He went, why? Sure, I'm sorting it out. They went.
And he gets away with it.
This is it. Gets away with it. It's like, sure, look at. Keep going, Elon. Goodbye. Fair play to you.
That's the thing with the glorious five. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates. Who else is there? There's two others that I always think back on.
Jeff Bezos would have
Bill
to be
Gates, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. Yeah, he's top of the pile. And
Steve Jobs.
Lad. I think he's a Mexican lad, and he owns all the phone companies.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Oh, sure, Steve Jobs is dead, sure, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, Steve Jobs has popped off. Yeah, he's popped off the next realm. But he's up there making Apple computers in heaven as we speak. But they're all dodgy, I say, those boys, because as you said, when you get to that level of power and that much money, like Bill Gates, like billions, I think someone told me that Jeff Bezos became a trillionaire over the course of the coronavirus because everyone was buying shite on Amazon. I was buying wigs and I was buying books and I was buying every sort of shite, and it's always shit I'm buying on there as well. It's always impulse crap.
I'm after buying fucking good stuff for this podcast, and fuck Jeff Bezos anyway. The cunt took my money, but I still haven't seen the fucking things, and that was nearly a month ago now at this stage. So, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, fucking Jeff Bezos, my whole. Yeah, I think when you get that rich, you can't have gotten it all clean. You know what I mean? You can't. Your hands can't be spotless. No. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think so.
They can't be, no. Because even like, you know, day to day life, like you're always trying to hustle in your life. You know, life's not about money, but like you're trying to pay your bills and get yourself a gaff or whatever like that, get yourself a car, pay the insurance. So you always like sort of end up having like sort of run-ins with people along the way naturally. So I can imagine those points of Mark Zuckerberg's life where he's like, get rid of that lad altogether.
Yeah.
You know, just get rid of him.
You can be guaranteed. Sure, didn't he fucking steal the idea for Facebook, the rotten bastard, of two twins from Harvard? And when they went, hi.
Jedward, yeah.
Jedward, that's it. When he came.
Oh, but he stole the idea off them. But then again, it's funny that like the likes of Zuckerberg or a lot of the people that we love, maybe not love, but like even Arthur Guinness, apparently he stole his idea off somebody.
He did, of course, the fucker.
Bastard.
But sure, there's always some poor misfortune who winds up fucking dead as a result of suicide with two fucking bullets to the back of his head. Poor old Tesla, sure. Look at Tesla himself. Mighty man. Died a pauper inside a hotel room with two bullets to the back of the head. They said, that's the worst case of suicide ever, sure.
Nah, really?
Yeah. And Trump's grandfather owned a hotel, and they cleaned out the fucking safe before anybody could get a fucking sniff of it. He'd a load of plans and everything apparently inside there, a load of patents of all sorts inside in the fucking yoke. Your man went,
fuck me.
I'll take them nicely, thank you. Small world, isn't it?
Tis surely, yeah.
When you see them bastards.
Tell you what, Trump, I don't know if Trump is gonna last. Like, I'm not trying to get political over here, like, but it seems like America it's it's fairly hectic there at the moment. Nice to be out here in Belmullet, away from the stress of that.
Oh, Jesus, now. Yeah, just talking with a lad today now, his brother is moving home out of America after 38 years. Enough. He says, well, fuck this anyway. He says, I may retire back to Ireland and sup a few pints. It's gone fuck. But do you ever think that Trump is like, fuck it anyway, what did I fucking start here? Like, in the way of taking on the job. Do you know? Because there's no way he's...
But the thing is, like... 76 the man is, and like no more than, I think Joe Biden is about the same, and I think fucking the other lad Bernie Sanders is about 89. Like what? Like what's going on over there? Like that they have these owl lads running the gaff. Like it's just, they should get a young fella in there who's a bit nippy. He's got like a 5% body fat ratio, and he just you know, he's looking to get things done. But them boys, they're just lying in their pockets of their grandchildren, you know.
76, is he? Jesus, I didn't know that.
I think he's at least 74, but I think he's 76.
So what business have any 70-odd-year-old doing any job? You wouldn't let him at anything.
Nah, I'm already trying to retire, Tom. Never mind fucking 76. I'm always calculating how much money, what's the least amount of money I can survive on for the rest of my life per day. And I calculated some days and I'm like, so I only need €6 a day. That means if I work for the next 3 years hard, I'll have the fuck. But normally the calculations go tits up and then I end up, you know, buying shite on Amazon.
There you go. Yeah, you need to get rid of everything. You could probably live on €2 a day if you got rid of every fucking thing out of your life. Like, but then, you know, you better become very fucking.
It's funny you say that, Tom, friends. Because I was actually thinking about, going down the minimalism path of life because, you know, like when you buy something like a laptop or you buy yourself some nice clothes, or you buy yourself, even if it's a nice car or whatever, like, you know, it's nice for the first few weeks, but then after that, then you're just like, it's the novelty kind of wears off, and you're like, where's the happiness gone out of this product? And then you're just kind of chasing stuff. And then sometimes when you're moving gaff as well, you find that you just build up an awful lot of shite in your life.
Well, the last move we had before we came here, we were after watching, gone stone mad into this one. Is her name Mary Cho or something? She's a Japanese one. She don't speak a word of English, this one, but she have her own fucking TV show, and she's a translator going around with her, and she goes into people's houses that are in pure shite, and they've socks hanging out.
She'd be feng shui in the gaff.
Feng shui, that's the one. And she holds up the shirt, and she's like, "Do you love this shirt?" He goes, I kind of love it. He goes, Does it give you a spark? Does it give you a spark? And he's like, no, there's no spark out of that now. That shirt is fucked. That's fuck it out. Fuck it clean out. So we went through a dose of that. But we ended up, I'm not kidding you, we ended up with we got rid of beds and every fucking thing. We said, you can start anew with anything. Done deal is there for everybody. Fuck all that shit. You don't need 90% of it. So that's definitely the minimalism thing. You see these fellas with the tiny houses on Netflix. Do you ever see the tiny houses, fellas? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. They look like they're happy as anyone.
Happy as fucking clams, a lot of them, sure. And you have one toothbrush, you have 2 pairs of shoes, a jacket. Drive a fucking yoke of jackets outside there now, and the whole...
You've seen the size of my jacket.
You see the cut of me going around with a fucking biker coat on me. At least your yoke makes sense. My arse is out to the wind in that fucking thing. It don't make any fucking sense. Oh, I'm fully in agreement.
No, I know, but like it makes no fucking sense.
I think this downtime, I hope, although Amazon would suggest otherwise, I hope it's gotten people a bit more holistic, for the want of a better phrase. Do you know, and they're going, sure, I don't need, what am I working so hard for? What am I buying up? Mate, I go out, you know, and if the weather was half decent every summer, sure, you know, you'd suffer away through the fucking winter. But you're growing out spud or a carrot, or you attempted cucumbers, but the crow kicked the fuck out of that on you. But you know, people just take far more pleasure out of the small things rather than, do you know what I need to do now? I need to fill up my life with a fucking 75-inch screen, and I need this and that. Fuck all that scutter.
But you know what though? Like, especially in Americans, they love buying shite. Like, you see what's that YouTube lad? Nestor, is it Nestor? Forget his name. Jesse Nestor.
Yeah.
Right? That's probably wrong, but like...
Oh, Casey
Neistat. See some of the videos he makes, like Casey Neistat. Casey Neistat, yeah, I got it in the end. But he does be buying stuff left, right, and centre, getting sent boxes upon boxes of absolute... it's good technology stuff, but at the same time, like, how many fucking cameras and laptops and fucking wires do you need? Now, I'm saying this, even though I look around this bloody room I'm in now, and it's got like strings and wires and bits of fucking batteries thrown around the place. And my problem, see, is I always buy the cheap version because I think I'm saving money, but I end up buying twice.
Yeah, you're never saying... I've always said that, like, and I learned that the fucking hard way, is save up the few pound and get the good yoke, because you'll only end up buying the fucking Aldi yoke 3-4 times, and you'll only end up getting tick over the fucking yoke. And now you've got 5 batteries. Yeah.
I was in Aldi there today again, as I said to you. I was in there, like, and that lad obviously got me away, but I also needed a sander. And I was like, I seen a sander in there, and I was like, that's fate. I have to buy this €25 sander made from, I think the company was called Spandex. Some random... Maybe they make Jock Sand sanders. But my missus was like, you don't really want to get that because it might be shite after you plug it in, like in a few bits of sand, and the engine might go. And I was like, nah, it's fate. And but it took a while to twist my arm not to get it, because I'm an awful man for impulse buying crap.
Yeah, I've had to physically leave the cash at home and only go, I'm that bad when it comes to it, especially to power tools. The amount of fucking bottle jacks I bought out of fucking Aldi, and not one is as useless as the fucking next. But it has never happened to me. It has never happened to me where I've wanted, say, a sander, and I'll try Aldi, because it would have been there every other week, bar the week I go fucking looking for, because that week would be the week that they're making yokes for spraying cars. They will never have the yoke I'm looking for. So, Era, come here. I got a €25 sander, exactly $24.99, Black & Decker up in Woody's, only around Christmas there. So save your fucking Aldi money. Go up to Woody's or a proper hardware. You'll get a yoke.
The problem is, we have a neighbour there in beside the parents' house, and the other day we were hanging out with him, and he goes, "Do you know what you need?" And he was like, I was like, he was telling me about some sort of weird saw that they were selling in there. And he goes, I got one. And he says, the best saw I ever got in my life. And like, because he gave me that bit of like, he planted the seed inside my mind. I was like, Jesus, maybe Aldi have, because apparently they have some good stuff in there, some good hardware stuff, you know.
I don't know. All I've ever gotten is pure shite out of the place. Anyway, I've never gotten a yoke of any fucking use. It always breaks, or there's a smell of burning coming out of it. And I keep on fooling myself by buying drill bits inside there. Sure, they wouldn't fucking drill a sausage like these yokes. They're fucking dirt.
No, I know exactly what you mean. So that's, I need to get a sander, Tom. If you know anyone selling a sander, if anyone out there is selling a sander, get in touch. I'd love to buy it off you.
What size sander do you need? Do you need the square one? Do you need the little mouse with the corner on it? You know that
square one, just to do a table, just doing a table in the house. To see, I got Age Action on Camden Street there in Dublin.
I know it well.
Well, I got a table in there about half a year ago for I think it was £100, but didn't I scratch the table? Like, it's all scratched on the top because it was in the back of a van and got marks all over it. So I have to sand down the whole thing now and give it a bit of a paint job. So if anyone's a bit of sandpaper or a bit of bucket of paint they're not using, get in touch.
Well, I'm raging because that's exactly what I bought my one for. I got a table and chairs down in Bray off a fella. He wanted rid.
Oh, yeah. And
they were fine. They were solid timber. And I don't know. The only sanders I had were 2 heaps of shit from Aldi. So I fucked them out. I went down to Woody's and got myself a Black & Decker. And she didn't let me down back. But do you know what I did? I got fucking sandpaper out of Aldi. And the sandpaper kept on snapping on the fucking yoke. It was like, it's just a man doesn't learn a lesson. So I had to go back down to the fucking Woody's and get a decent sander. Did the fucking whole lot in a weekend. Painted it up. Good job. Fucking langer.
Nice.
But and this
That's
is
the lesson of the week.
Yeah. Don't buy hardware stuff inside the place that sells eggs. Do you know what I mean? And pizza bases and fucking Horses for courses, like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. No, definitely. It's like someone said to me before, when it comes to like getting food in a restaurant, you know, when you ever go into a restaurant and you look at the menu and it's like Thai food, Indian food, Chinese food, Japanese food, all on the one menu. They said that you shouldn't go into a place like that. You should only go into a place that like have cooks. Apparently, they say this, that are native to that country, because they'll cook the foods the best. Like, so if you're going into like an Italian restaurant, try to make sure there's Italians in there cooking food, or else whatever country it may be, you know.
Well, it makes
a dodgy way.
Not saying people with what would you call that, fusion? Is it fusion restaurant? We're not fusion. We're not slagging you off, boys. But nail your colours to the mast somewhere. I get you. It's hard to trust anybody who throws because jack of all trades, master of none. You know what I mean? I don't want to be. You're spot on. I don't want to be eating Indian food that is kind of all right, but it's a bit like Chinese. You know, give me fucking one or t'other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because it's like a nice little treat. I love Indian food, so when I'm eating Indian food, I want to eat Indian food. You know.
Would you eat it hot?
Oh yeah, the hotter the better. That's the thing. When you're going in for it, you're going in for it full, and you want to get the hottest stuff going. You want to be leaving the place just fucking gasping for water.
Big ceramic.
Open the doors quick. Get me out of here.
Ceramic.
Open the fucking doors.
Oh, there's a place down the road here, lad. I'm not sure. I don't think it's Indian. I think it's Pakistani. They have two of them, and a place is always a good sign when they went 1 and 2 towns, because they're doing well. They don't back off the heat for anybody. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't.
Yeah.
It's a lovely spot, but I tell you one thing: they do not back off the fucking heat for anybody. They're just like, well, if you don't fucking like it, fuck up the road and get Chinese. You know, this. Woo! And we're talking about, I mentioned holistic stuff.
Yes.
I've started meditation now.
No way.
I have.
Jesus, that's the world is coming to an end, Tom. I couldn't imagine you do meditation.
I know people think I'm some sort of fucking Cro-Magnon savage, that I just go around fucking taking the bite out of Architraven and fucking kicking open doors and stuff like.
So what's the story with the old meditation? What are you thinking about?
Here's the thing. I'm only new at it, right? And it came about as a result of practicing. Herself is studying at the minute to be a hypnobirthing specialist, right? Because she did this thing, hypnobirthing, before. And basically what it is, it's not hypnotizing really, but what it does is, it's the very same as sports psychology. It gets your head in the game for the big day. So
yes, gotcha.
And like that
visualization.
Yeah. And on the big day, she was as cool as a breeze. They never saw a cooler woman. She didn't take any drugs, nothing. It was just schmood as unbelievable. And she's doing case studies now with people to rack up her time, you know?
Yeah.
And a couple that we both know, the couple, they're in the comedy world. They're on with her now as well at the minute, and they're fucking loving it, because they had big fears about the situation. You know, your first ever child and everything, because people only want to tell you the fucking bad stories.
Yeah, of course, yeah. She's
gone fair good at it now at this stage. But I was practicing with the different. She said, sit down there. I want to do this technique with you, where you visualize this and visualize that, and just random things. It was nothing to do with pregnancy or anything, because I'm not about to have a child. But believe it or not, Owen, I'm not pregnant. But lo and behold, Jesus, I tell you one thing, I came away out of each one of these, maybe 10 minutes or whatever, just, I want you to focus on this. And I came away, fucking hell, I says, that was, because my mind never comes off the pedal. Like, it never comes off the pedal. I didn't realize that. Mine never comes off the throttle. It's constantly at fucking 7,000 revs, 8,000 revs. Well, this meditation and this visualization, I'm not cotton with you. Without knowing it, I inadvertently fucking switched the engine off altogether, and just she fucking cruised away down the hill. Oh, I came away refreshed.
It's hard done, though. Oh, I can imagine. It's hard done though, because it's hard to turn off, as you said, like your foot will be on the gas the whole time. And most people in life, including myself, are like that. Like, and it's just, you're constantly thinking, fuck, what about this? Am I doing that right? Oh, fuck. And it's the critical voice in your head that's always like telling you, you know, maybe you should be doing this now. Maybe, did you do that podcast right? I don't think that fucking thing was plugged in. So much chatter goes on in your head, and kind of gets in the way of what you really want, you know?
Well, what it definitely helped that she was helping me through it, because she lovely soft tones and stuff like that, and she was talking me through the whole thing, so I was listening to her voice, you know what I mean, and not the fucking crazy bastards that are living inside my head. But
yeah,
after 3 or 4 of these, I went, fuck, there must be a way that I can just fucking zone out. You know, she goes, oh, there is. She goes, you can use this forever, like. And she started giving me kind of techniques, you know, maybe for now, keep your eyes open, put something up on the wall that fucking takes you to a happy place, like, and always go to that happy place, like, you know, whether it is the fucking mother's kitchen at home when you were 5 and you were getting a bun or something like that, or an old river you used to go swimming in or something like that. And once you get practice at switching into it, it gets easier and easier, rather than, so less and less does the idea of the podcast or the fucking, did I turn off the car outside? Did I do, you know, less and less. Yeah, all the chatter starts to go away easier. It's like when I was in college learning how to nap. I could switch off in 30 seconds and be sound asleep in 30 seconds. And it took me about a week to do that every day. And I could switch off and have an hour's nap in the middle of the day, no bother. And to take me 30 seconds to switch off. I'm not joking with you, but
that's probably the best skill I've ever heard in my life.
It was something I was so proud of, and I've definitely lost it. But even when I stayed working in the buildings and stuff, I might be waiting on a lad in the van or waiting on somebody, and I'd look at the watch and go, sure, he won't be on for another 15 minutes. What I'll do now, I'd be gone. I'd be fucking gone.
That's people get jealous of that though. People get jealous, and because I can fall asleep not in 30 seconds, but in about 5 minutes. But sometimes people actually wake me up because they're so jealous that I can sleep quickly.
I can see why you'd be jealous of it, though. In all fairness, like I can see, look at that cunt over there now, just snoozing. He look at him gathering energy as I die here. I'm literally dying here. That fucker is growing and getting healthier in his sleep as we speak right now, and here I am dying in front of him, withering away slowly. And that fucker, you see, it was a couple of lads on the rugby team that I was playing with. They all fucking professed this siesta was the way to go. If you were training in the evening. And because we were students, so you're scratching your bollocks most of the time, they said, for training in the evening, you'll be bursting with energy if you can get a half an hour to an hour's nap during the day. If you can stick with it for 5 to 7 days, the first couple of days you'll be lying there staring at the ceiling going, I can't nod off at all. But it's the very same with the meditation. The first 3 or 4 times you're going, I don't know, can I switch into this? Is this all hokey cokey or what? But then it gets easier and easier.
And you find yourself more productive now?
I think so, yeah. I do think so. Calmer. That's my big thing. Yeah. I'm calmer. So I would think I'm more productive as a result of that. I'm not the manic... I'm still a fucking lunatic. But I think I'm a bit more like Teflon now. I'm like, that's grand. I'm not
No, I know what you mean. Because otherwise you probably like, you know, if you're not aware of like what you're thinking about, you probably become more, maybe more reactive to stuff, and you're just going like, well, fuck it, let's do this. Okay, I better do this. And you're kind of you're not really doing anything properly, I suppose. But if you're kind of clear-minded, and you say to yourself, okay, there's 4 things I have to do today, then you will end up being a lot more productive, I'd imagine.
Well, you're not freaking out because those 4 things because you know yourself, you go, I've done 4 things written up there on the board or written down on the notebook. I'll get them done. And you know yourself. 17 other fucking things jump in and go, I'll do a bit of that, and I'll do a bit of this, and I'll do a bit. Well, what I'm finding is you end up just doing the 4 things and be delighted with yourself, and you kind of forget about the 17 things. You know, that kind of way?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I do to-do lists. I do them maybe Monday to Friday. Like sometimes I forget. Today I forgot, but I do normally to-do lists. But I was putting about 10 things on there, and I was just like, clean up the house, fucking do go for a run, you know, do a bit of writing, do the recording, whatever else. But like I was doing maybe 10 things on the list, and I might look at the list in the morning. I'm like, there's fucking loads of stuff to do here. I don't have any time, but I tried to get through it. But then I'd be jumping from one thing to the next, and I'd only be half doing everything. So then at the end of the day, you wouldn't really have anything properly done. So they reckon you should only have 4 things on a to-do list.
Oh.
Max.
Oh.
Yeah. And then if you get them done, just say to yourself, okay, then I'll maybe sweep up the room or whatever like that. But 4 big things on your to-do list, they reckon.
Well, that makes sense, in fairness. And the sense of achievement, then you're like, well, I got them fucking things done. Delighted.
Oh, of course. Because I mean, if you're like, if you're recording something, we'll say, for example, you just want to play around with some idea you have at home, it's going to take you at least a half an hour to get into it. And then it's going to take you probably another hour to sort of get into the flow of it properly. And then you probably might have a bit of a fucking mix up with something, or you might want to redo it. So that'll take you 2 hours anyways, 2.5. And sure, if you've got 4 things on the list, that's nearly 10 hours, you know. In fact, that is 10 hours.
Yeah. Mathematician corner with Owen Colgan.
Carol Vorderman, where you at, girl?
Carola's still holding well. Did you see her lately? And now, no doubt she's had the builders in, like, but she's holding well.
I'd say she's in a constant state of, I'd say she's wedged into a pair of Spanx the whole time.
Do you know what she's like? Do you know, were you ever in Barcelona?
Yes, yeah.
Do you know the church?
I don't know where this is going, but I'm excited to hear it.
Don't expect it to go anywhere. Fucking well, right? My analogies are fucking insane. But do you know the church that's been built for the last fucking 200 years? And they're still sticking bits onto it.
The Sagrada de Familia, is that the one?
Oh, look at you. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Oh, Gaudi. No. Fucking Gaudi.
Gaudi, man. He the lad that invented the cheese, is he?
Howie Gaudi, Giovanni fucking bit of cheese. No, but it could be the same lad. I don't know.
But you know but sure, he's weird old buildings all over Barcelona. But do you know the way that fucking thing has been? They're tacking on bits to it, left, right, and it still looks class. It still looks, it's still impressive. Well, I think that's Carol Vorderman, isn't it? She's still impressive. Yeah. Even though, you know, the builders have been in there for the last maybe 20 or 30 years.
They're still tacking on bits, but yeah, you still love to go inside.
That's the end of the podcast, everybody. Thank you very much.
Christ, please get rid of that bit. That's the end of the podcast. That's the end of my career, more like.
That is fucking perfect. Perfect. Oh my God. I threw that ball up there, Brian. You volleyed it from your own fucking 5-yard line, and you booted that straight over. Oh, that's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
I met
But you know what though, Tom?
Yeah, go on, sorry.
That I was trying to do a bit of meditation as well during the week. It's tough work. I can't get into it.
I'm going to have to talk you through the method that I use, because I'm guessing we've similar fucking style brains. But again, because the first couple I did was with herself talking to me, nearly in a nice calm way, describing what I should be going, where I should be going to, and all the rest of it in my head. So
it's like guided meditation, is it?
It was like that. It was guided meditation, exactly. And then after that, I can kind of take the reins up myself. Like, so you find a quiet spot in the house that's your spot that you're comfortable in. Couple of deep breaths in and out for maybe fucking, whatever takes you in, and then the process needs to be the same, I think. For me anyway, it does. So you need to start walking to that happy place, like, you know what I mean? Maybe eating a fruit that you love, you know, those kind of things. And and then you can have your own mantra then, like whether it's a success mantra or just happiness mantra or peacefulness mantra or whatever it is, you can start chiming that to yourself. And if there's only 5 minutes is all you get through.
Yeah, Jesus, that works. I must get into that a bit more. I must keep at it, because I find that there's too many voices in my head, Tom, that I can't. After like 2 or 3 days of doing it, I'm like, this doesn't seem to be working. So I kind of just go on to something else. But I have heard that, like, if you want to get to the top of anything, you kind of need to incorporate the whole visualization and all that stuff.
Look at it. I mean,
positive self-affirmation.
Jesus, I tell you, there's some serious stuff coming out of Owen Colgan this evening.
What am I talking about?
I think give it more than the 3 days anyway. You know what I mean? Because it like, you're not about to grow an extra inch on your Mickey or like, you know what I mean? It'll come to you. It'll come to you, like, you know what I mean? So it's definitely not doing you any harm. That's for sure.
No, I will. I get into it more. I would like to get into it more, because I'm into that kind of stuff as well. But because you know what, I went to one. The problem is, I think I went to a lad before in Dublin. Some lad was telling me, because I was freaking out before some gigs, and I was like, fuck it, I need to get a grip on these gigs and like kind of control my sort of anxiety before the gigs. So some lad is like, oh yeah, if you go out to this lad, he'll hypnotize you and you'll never worry about a gig again. So I went out to him anyways. He's out in Black Rock, but he gave me the first. he gave me the first class for free. But,
All right.
He was like, he did this thing with my hand where like he kind of gets me to put my hand like that, sort of kind of like my two fingers kind of together, and then the other two like are sort of not separated but kind of locked. But then he goes, right, close your eyes, and then he started telling me, now your hands are locked together. They're locked together. You cannot open your hands. They're locked together. And then about 5 minutes later, he goes, now try to open your hands. Now I think I could open them, but I just said, just to suit him, I'll keep them closed. I was like, yeah, you're doing a good job. And then he's like, now I want you to lie down. And I was like, you're not on me, are you?
I love
and
that.
then he got me
just
to lie down, and he was like, but I didn't want to make a fool of him. Like that was his one job, you know. So
that's the most Irish thing ever, Owen. Irish are look at. I'd want up to set the poor fella.
He might have had a family and everything, you know, that were relying on his fucking meditation skills or hypnosis skills. But then he got me lying down anyways, and he was like talking to me, and it kind of worked a small bit. Like I remember thinking when I left, geez, I'm in great form. But then I had a gig 2 nights later, and I would say probably 10% less nervous. So probably I should have kept at it.
Yeah, all these things, especially you probably have a mind a bit like mine. They call it. You're just not easily suggestible. You know, you're not suggestible. So with like that, it does like the first one. Sure, it wasn't working at all. Really, like, you know. Now maybe I wasn't buying into it because, you know, you as a public commentator, you do tend to have to be a bit cynical about things. You know what I mean? Like, so you know. It probably takes a few more slaps of the fucking sledge before that'll come away. Like, you know, so I'd stay. But you know what? By the time this lockdown is done, we'll be hosting our own fucking Harden Up retreats. The
Soften Up, they'll be called.
That'd be a great name for a fucking yoga retreat, or not a meditation retreat. We charge people a fucking
Soften up, you cunt.
We charge people a fucking fortune to sit in a bog somewhere in the Midlands, maybe, because you get land cheap there. You rent land cheap there. We'll just sit out in a bog and just listen to the wind. Just go. We'll marching up and down, just whispering into people's ears. Soften up, you cunt.
You be grand, you cunt. You be grand. Imagine having a gang of people on a bog. You just whispering into their ears. You be grand, mate. You be grand. Me and you in spandex for no reason in the bog.
One more thing I wanted to tell you, this week, and I knew you would have fucking loved this fella. I met a Polish fella this week, and
oh yes,
and he was asking me about rugby. It was outside. We were talking from 2 meters away. It was outside the Aldi, and I don't know. I was wearing a t-shirt that had fucking rugby or something written on it, and he was this is crazy, isn't it? I was sure, look at us. The whole world is the same, you know, you have to accept it. And he was pure conspiracy theorist straight away. He started standing way too close to me and stuff. But it was like, oh, Jesus Christ. He goes, you know, the corona is all just a pile of shit. I went, I know, but sure, look, you have to tip along with him anyway. So next thing, he goes straight into the rugby, right?
Yeah.
You like the rugby? I said, I do, yeah. Fond of the rugby. He says, I fucking love the rugby system. Right? Just the last thing I expected a Polish fella to start talking about, right? He says it, and he didn't have the words for how much he loved it, right? He was like, it is a sport of, he just started, and real loud, like people were looking at the two of us now.
Started hitting the wall.
Yeah, he just started flexing. Like pulling shapes and everything, like. So he was asking,
throwing a bit of baby oil on himself. This is how much I like.
But he started asking me what teams to support then. He didn't know any of the rules. All he knew was that there's a load of big, hard men clattering into each other, and that fucking suits him down to the ground. And he was like, I wish we had rugby growing up in Poland. And I was thinking, I'm fucking glad you didn't, you cunts. Because you'd murder everybody if you fucking had the likes of rugby. Yeah. Fucking hell tonight.
Oh, yeah. I was also surprised why the Poles never got into the rugby, because they're massive dudes.
A few lads now have started getting it, but see, soccer is big over there too. But in Georgia, it's big in Georgia, which would be wouldn't be a million. Yeah. You know, you see a lot of wealthy fuckers in Georgia. You see, they And a lot of rich Russian lads get sent to the likes of here to go to school and England to go to school and stuff like that. So,
right.
there was a fella playing, fucking Vladistok playing. He was the captain of Russia during the last World Cup, and he went to Blackrock. Big Dublin accent on him, like. Well, I say Dublin.
No way.
Yeah, he had a Southside accent, and his name was genuinely something like Vladimir fucking Schnitznikov, and he goes, yeah, it's just great. Love playing for Russia, guys. He was like,
no way, you serious?
I swear to God, it didn't make sense at all. Like,
what's his name?
Oh, gee, it's fucking like that. I should really have found this for the podcast, like, but because I was telling your man today, and he was fucking loving it, like, but he kind of hated Russians then on top of that. Yeah. So, he was like, fuck the Russians, a small bit. But I'm saying, no, 'tis out your neck of the woods, all right. You never got it,
And what's the story with the Georgians? How come how come you said that they play rugby down that way?
I don't know the reason. It's the same reason, I suppose, maybe Argentina are fucking class at rugby too. I'm guessing expats brought it over there some which way. And the Georgians then are all fucking monsters. They're like, they're fucking gorillas, these fellas. Like, huge big bastards. Like, if you can if a club here can get their hands on a fucking Georgian and pay him enough money, just stick the fucker in the front row. He'll be built like a fucking tank anyway.
Myself and the boys, myself and the Hardy Bucks lads, we met some of the rugby lads from Munster there before. Mushy, I think Shane Mulvey, his name was. Is it Shane Mulvey?
No, Shane Mulvey worked for, you're thinking, Mushy is Tony Buckley.
Tony Buckley, okay, yeah, sorry.
I lived,
mixed up there.
I briefly lived with Mushy, would you believe?
No, did you fuck?
Mushy was one of the lads, this is unbelievable, Mushy is one of the lads that actually, he taught me all about the napping. He was some man for the napping. Mushy could fucking shut off while driving the car if he wanted, like, he was just... And I had to move out of that house because the Irish was so mad. Like, everybody was massive. And everybody that came through the door was massive. And I was too small to be around these cunts. They were just... And the farting that was going on, everybody was on protein shakes.
Those protein shakes give you the dirtiest farts in the world.
Oh, my God. He came down to visit me in my house one day, and he ate everything inside the fridge. I mean, everything. A whole bar of Kerry Gold and everything the cunt ate. Like, for anybody listening who's wondering who the fuck is Mushy, he used to play for Munster. He got a few gigs for Ireland, but naturally, his natural weight, his fit fighting weight was 21.5 stone. That was him fit and fighting. 21.5 stone, and he's size 16 boots. He was the biggest fucking human I ever remember being in contact with.
I remember when we met them, they had their own creatine mix. It was like purposely designed for the Munster team. And Jerry Flannery's legs were so wide, his calves were so wide, or not calves, sorry, his thighs, that he had to put in fucking Sudocrem or something in between his legs just so they wouldn't be chafing the whole time. And this was just regular walking around.
Fucking hell tonight. Jesus. Oh, he's still fucking jacked.
Yeah, and your man Mushy. Oh yeah, they're all like, I think it's just natural. But that's what I was saying, like, the Georgian lads are huge, but in fairness to the Irish boys, they're fucking fairly big too, like.
Yeah, find a couple of units. Like, I don't know what Mushy's story was, but sure, I mean, we were playing under 20s together. He was that size when we were all under 20. Sure, Jesus Christ. The man didn't need to be fit. He'd be smoking a fag at the side of the field. Next thing, on comes Mushy, and he just started catching young fellas by the fucking head. It was just ridiculous.
Like having a Massey Ferguson 35 tractor on the field. The same sort of power behind it, you know.
Savage torque in the Massey 35, first tractor I ever drove by.
We still have one. That's the one that resides at the old parents' house.
And she'll never die.
No. Well, she's as good as dead now, to be honest. But for some reason, the father won't bury her because he still tries to get the best out of her. It's a great tractor, though.
So tell me this: how was your week?
Pretty good, yeah. Can't complain now. Didn't do a whole lot. I went over to Achill there during the week, and went over to see this kind of like abandoned village that's over there.
Oh,
yeah, it was like I don't know what happened. I think it might have been a famine village where people had to leave because of poverty. But it's like a load of houses. I should really know exactly, but there's a load of like kind of stone houses that are just kind of like close to a mountain and a massive quartz kind of mountain behind them as well. It's lovely, lovely spot.
Jizz, and people go on about coronavirus.
Achill is unreal.
Them lads had a fucking proper blight, potato blight, and everything. Do you know? You had to do a proper legger there,
Yeah.
like there was.
That was hardcore stuff, yeah. But
Isn't Isn't there
Yep.
an abandoned town in somewhere in Mayo called Kong? Is it Kong? It was.
Kong? No, it's not. It's not abandoned though. But it's got the castle there, Ashford Castle, beside it.
But the Quiet Man, wasn't it? Yes, that's the story. They built basically onto the town of Kong for the Quiet Man, and Kong, and they couldn't make an agreement over who was going to own these new buildings. And the movie company was going, well, who are we signing this fucking stuff over to? And for a finish, nobody could fucking come to an agreement. So they fucking knocked the whole lot down. That was it. That was the story. That's fair ignorant, isn't it?
That's fuck's sake, yeah. Yeah. Did you see that video, by the way, of the two of the farmers? Go back.
I wish I had it to throw it up on this right now for you. Where was that? Your neck of the woods, was it?
It was somewhere in Mayo, apparently, but I don't know. I couldn't, I didn't recognize the lads that were involved in it, but your man kept saying something. I forget what the words were, but it was something like, stop that now, or something like. And that gave the game away that he was from Mayo, but and they look like proper Mayo lads as well. But I don't know what the issue was, but it looked like it could kick off fairly handy there, you know.
There was a John Deere 3310 trying to make it down a small road. I'm sad that I actually know the type of fucking John Deere it was, but it was, and there was a black Land Cruiser parked again him, and the two old boys got out of the black Land Cruiser. For anybody who hasn't seen this video, and basically they're coming up the road, and the tractor's trying to make it down the road, and the boys are have back. Your man on the, and there's a fella on the camera walking beside the tractor.
I don't know what it is, Tom, but it seems like, especially in Irish farms, there's a lot of situations where like there's a bit of a road in between two fields, or it might bring you down to the river, or it might bring you into a bit of water. And there always seems to be farmers arguing over small little like strips of land.
Yeah, and they fucking love it. And it might be of no consequence whatsoever, but it's like, I think you're not fucking busy enough if you're cribbing about that bit of fucking land. Stubbornness. Oh, sure, the place is rife with it at home.
Yeah, but is it, yeah?
Oh, rife with that kind of carry on. Yeah. There's been fucking fellas shot at. There's all sorts. A specialist at home is back in the 80s and 90s, if you were having a land dispute with a fella, what you do is one fella in particular that I can think of, he was rowing with one fella, and he got a bullet in the post with his name engraved on the side of it. Yeah. And I know the two fellas, and
that's ruthless.
And here's the other one. Your man that got the bullet sent a wreath to the other fella's house with his name on it, and rang up the local radio station for the obituaries and put his fucking name on it. Like that's
Christ, that's so close to being funny, like, you know.
It's fucking brilliant. But in today's society, that would be a hate crime of some sort, I'm guessing, and both of them would go to fucking prison for it.
That's crazy. I wonder how far could you take that if you were to keep sending a picture over to a lad? How close, would you maybe stand behind him in Tesco, put a needle into the back of his hand, take a pinch of his blood, and then send him a picture of his own blood and say, "This could get a whole lot worse for you," or something like that. I don't know.
I thought you were going to steal his. Jesus, this is where my brain was going with that. I thought this is where Westworld was going to start. You were going to fucking clone him, and you were going to put him out. You're going to put him out, wait 30 years and send a younger version of him to the house.
Play the long game. Will you fucking hurry up and grow?
That's one for another fucking podcast, actually, about cloning ourselves.
Let's move on to the chat, because I haven't really done a whole lot this week. I've kind of been keeping it home. Well, I've got like a bit of turf out the back, but sure, I think I've covered that already before anyways.
You know what? There's an awful thing to ask a man in these conditions anyway. How was your week? Are you up to anything fun at the weekend? It's like, how would you fuck off? I did nothing. The same as you. Yeah,
but it's just a natural thing to say.
I know. You up to anything? What are you at for the weekend? I'm at nothing. Drinking in my underwear by myself. That's what I'm at.
The fucking yeah. Do you know, though, speaking of the drinking, though, I was listening to a lad there the other day. Well, actually, I was listening to Bill Burr. He was talking about something. But some lad was asking him about the drink, because apparently Bill Burr used to like a few drinks. And he said, and it seems a bit obvious, but it was good to hear it. He said that the trick with him with the drink, to give up the drink, was like, he said, he just doesn't get it. So when he goes into the shop, he said, if it's in the house, I'll definitely be drinking it. If the bottle of whiskey's in the house or whatever, there's a couple of bottles of beer, don't lie to yourself and say, Ari, I'll spread that out during the week. I'll drink that all in one night. So it kind of made a lot of sense, because I think last week, I don't know if I was saying this, but last week some lad dropped over. I did a small little video for him, and he dropped over like a 6-pack of Bulmers, actually an 8-pack, I think, and a bottle of white wine. And when I came back from Achill, there was the sunny day we got. It was all sunny. So I was kind of all heated up. And I think I might have told you the story, but I came in anyways, and I pretty much polished the lot. Well, that's a lie. I didn't polish a lot, but I polished 3/4 of a bottle of wine and about 2 cans. And I thought to myself, fuck it. There was no need for that. Like that was on a Monday as well.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was thinking the exact same thing. But Burr can drink. Like I drank for about an hour with him one time. He was gigging in Dublin. His opening act was Joey DeRosa. And just by pure fluke, we got introduced in this tent at the festival. And we had a right bit of crack, and the next thing, Burr came out after his gig or whatever. And he sat down with us. And he was saying, like, he was fond of the fucking sauce. And he was saying, I couldn't survive here because it's socially acceptable to be rip into the drink from every angle. Like, at least where he is in LA, people are a bit fucking more, hey, man, maybe we need an intervention, Whereas here, it's completely socially acceptable. But I'm of the exact same. I bought 3 bottles of beer on Saturday morning at the shopping, and they got consumed Saturday night. That was it. I said, if I bought 100 bottles, Owen, I'd fucking try drinking them all. It's the same as the biscuits. We were talking about the biscuits the last day. If they're in the house, they're getting it. Simple as that.
That's it. Out of sight, out of mind. And I think the trick is, we'll see how long it lasts. But I'm going to try. I know it's only Monday, but I'm going to try now not have drink at all in the house this week, because I think, I'm not condoning the drink, but I think since I was probably 18, I probably had at least one drink a week, at least once. I had at least 1 pint or 1 can. I don't think I've gone much longer than 10 days, we'll say.
I came off it for 10 months because I was going at it too hard, and just something needed to be done. And it reset, I tell you, it reset the whole system. By the time I went back on it, that first pint. But then I didn't go mad. It was like a pure treat, that kind of way. It's a treat now. And I need to do that. I need to do that shit to myself, because if I do have an addictive personality. If I go after a fucking yoke, I want to drink all the drinks. I don't just want to sip them. I want to drink all the drinks. So at least this it put me a good stead,
Yeah.
But it's fucking hard doing comedy when you're not having a drink.
Yeah, no, you have to treat it like it's a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Like a treat, I suppose, because if you're at it the whole time, the novelty kind of wears off, and then you find yourself trying to have a few drinks just to sort of level up, to balance the books a small bit, So trying to get out of the house is the key, I think. Yeah.
I associate it with cooking on a Saturday night. Okay. That's what I had to associate it with a thing. And that's what it... So now, yes, the dinner might be burnt, but... but at least, I'm keeping it to a confined moment, you know what I mean? So, right, the news, anyway. So, there's not a whole pile of different stuff in the news, but of course, McGregor, Dubai called Wolf. He's after calling it time again. 3rd fucking time. Oh, and what's going on,
I don't know, but I think it's not looking good for... I don't think Dana White cares too much. It's hard to care when you've got that much money. I don't know how he does it, but it seems like McGregor got his bluff called. It seems like John Jones got his bluff called. And it seems like a few other fighters like Masvidal and the boys got their bluff called. And I think Dana White, being the shrewd businessman he is, he's going to come out on top of all this. Although I think the boys will set up a union. Yeah,
I mean, it looks like it all right. But then Bellator, it kind of has a few up-and-coming lads, and then it has the kind of washed-up lads like Chael Sonnen and stuff giving it a crack over there and things like that. But when you've the likes of your man Sugar Sean O'Malley, he's the new McGregor, he's like a cross between McGregor and that rapper 6'9" or 69 or whatever your man's called, with the face tattoo.
6 and 9, or the lad that got prisoned. But that's. I often wonder when I see those face tattoos, if I was like in my early 20s or even late teens, would I be getting one of those? I probably would get like a fucking barcode of jambons on my face.
I knew you were going to say jambons. I fucking
Oh,
knew.
Christ. Once I get, yeah. But your man Sean O'Malley is great though, and it's an Irish fella probably. I'd imagine with a name like that, he must have some Irish blood.
Yeah, he's east of he's east of Boston anyway, as the fella says. Like, yeah, he has to be.
Right.
No, he doesn't go on about it or whatever. But he's all the colour, he's all the pomp, you know. And there'll be another fella on that to be able to chat to, like McGregor. The wheel will keep rolling and people will keep coming regardless, like, you know. So
yeah,
I suppose tis on to the next fella, isn't it?
It's on to the next fella, and that's just the nature of life, you know. Because you think like that whoever you like is going to be there forever, but as a mate once said to me, you'll one day you'll become someone else's showreel, you know. You'll be on someone else's showreel.
Oh yeah. And I was trying to think there. I was kind of half listening to you, and I was listening to you, but I was thinking about the thing.
Thanks very much.
The thing
I hope I had your good ear, did I?
No, the thing is, you definitely, because I know I'll hear you back 3 or 4 times anyway in the edit of this, but I was thinking of face tattoos for you. Like a crow on one cheek and a jambon on the, like, you'd go down in history. I mean, people would ask you, and you know, even people that don't know you. Imagine you're at a funeral somewhere in England for a far distant cousin or something, and there's a lad with the fucking jambon tattooed on his face. Or
if I lived in America, I would get a crow tattooed onto my face. That's because America is just the Wild West, so I wouldn't care. And if someone's seen you with the crow on your face, you'd be like, that lad clearly is a fucking wild card.
He's a dodgy lad, for sure.
You wouldn't have to do anything at all, so I probably would. But I was tempted to get a tattoo years ago, but I never bothered. Do you have any?
No, so you've none either. You have not sullied
No.
God's creation. So is that what you're telling me?
Exactly. Yeah. Don't have a stitch of ink on me.
I could never decide on anything, and I never wanted one that bad. Like, but
Yeah.
a few times I thought, you know, wouldn't it be funny to get like a fucking whole arm of real tree camo? And then I thought, yeah, but my fear would be if your man did a shite job. Like, you know, the way you see some tattoo artists, they might be a shite job, but it was like, it's their version. They go, no, I'm an artist, so I'm just going to do it my way. And you have to suck it up then, like, and you go, oh, fuck.
And there is a lot of cowboys out there too that are doing kind of dodgy tattoo work. Some of those owl lads that you go around, you see, they have those like tattoos on their forearms, and you're just thinking, who the fuck did that? The butcher.
But even 'tis on their forearm, like, you know what I mean? Yes, it was probably done with a 2-prong fork and a fucking biro. But, you know, at least they didn't tattoo their neck. You know what I mean? Like, or like, there's lads now with fucking, you know, blessed written across, and you're going, like, I unless you're going down that route, you're going to look like some langer, like when you're 55 years of age and just hanging off the side of your face, like.
I think so, yeah. I think there was a point where like it was cool to have tattoos, but I think it's probably going to come around where it's probably cool not to have them. I don't know though, maybe, but it seems like everyone has them now. Yeah,
I think McGregor has to be thanked for half the tattoo artists in Dublin getting fucking business, because the amount of young fellas immediately after he broke onto the scene got like a sleeve of tattoos, you know.
Yeah.
And they get it down the hand as well, so that when they take that Instagram shot of their fake Rolex, you know, in the rented car that they have, you know, as lads like to do for Instagram, it'll that waistcoat, fucking Louis Copeland did savage business.
3-piece job. Yeah. But I don't know. I think McGregor, he's kind of backed himself into a corner there with the whole retiring conversation. So I'd say he will come back though, but I don't think that. I'd say he's probably rarer to go fighting, you see. But Dana White wants him to fight in front of a crowd because he'll get more money, you know. But if McGregor's not fighting in front of a crowd, he'll probably lose out a few million. Oh, is that it? Yeah, that makes sense. I think so. Yeah. Devon Island is a big number, like, you know. Devon Island out in the middle of fucking Abu Dhabi now, haven't they, or some fucking place where they're going to go fighting, and not a sinner will be on it. And it's no consequence anyway. He could say, "Yeah, I'm retiring," and sure, show up next week. I'm fighting again, and it's like, whatever. Yeah. It's not the drama it was. Like, people are kind of going, "Yeah, that's grand, Conor. Yeah, see you next week. No bother." Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The thing is, as you say, cried wolf too many times, and I think that people will just be like, "Ara, sure, if you come back, you come back, and if not, no ways." Because there's a fair gang of lads there now who are doing well anyways, like between Masvidal and Who else is there? There's Sean O'Malley, obviously. There's Francis Ngannou, who's an absolute beast altogether. So there's plenty of lads knocking around there anyways.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the weirdness, and the next thing I wanted to talk about was the weirdness of there being no audience and all the rest. New Zealand rugby gets back this week. New Zealand have been clean for the last fortnight, apparently. So they're going to have a full house for, I think, the Crusaders play the Blues this weekend. So they're going to have 55,000 in the stadium. But,
wow.
Yeah, so they reckon it's fine. They're grand. They were kind of always grand anyway. They kept it below the radar. But I was reading another one in Korea, because they're mad for their soccer in Korea, and they wanted to keep the show going, like, you know. So they allowed the teams to play after being tested and everything. So fucking 2 sets of 11 out in the field. And rather than just playing it with the cameras on, somebody, because the Asians are mad gas bastards, that's a place I would love us to do to do a tour of fucking Asia, because they do their own fucking thing. So some fella's idea, what he said was, throughout the stadium, what they'll do to make it look a bit better is they'll stick mannequins throughout the whole fucking stadium. Right?
I love it. I fucking love the Koreans. They're just fucking nutters.
Like some fella made the decision there, or some woman made a decision there at the top, and nobody went, hold on, Macchiato, hold on one fucking second now. Are you sure we don't just CGI in? Because the boys will play anyway regardless. Well, all well and good, they were mannequins. But what happened was, your man put in the order for, we'll say he put in an order for 1,200 mannequins. Or I think there's something like 5,000 mannequins. What showed up was very realistic sex dolls showed up. You know, the ones with actual built-in anatomy and everything like. The fucking load of these ones turned up. And your man didn't cop it. The boss man came down and said, oh, that's fine. Get jerseys and hats and all of them there now and dot them throughout the stadium to be the finest. And it's only when people were watching it. And they fucking panned to the audience as well, just to... For what?
Class.
I don't... Oh,
I know that's brilliant, though, because there's no need for it.
No,
there's no need for it. That's the beauty of it. I love it.
If you're on the camera that day, like, you definitely would. You wouldn't be able to watch the fucking yoke at all. You'd be just breaking your bollocks laughing behind the camera, like. But
what's going on with the world? The world has just gone. I can't even keep up with the world nowadays. It's just, anytime I hear a story, I'm just like, no matter how mental the story is, I'm like, all right, fair enough. You have to accept whatever news you hear now, because everything is nuts.
Well, we're turning into a series of Black Mirror. Like, if you've ever seen that TV show, it was just a mad episode. Every week was just an insane thing. And it was like, oh, yes, I could see how that could be relevant to... And it was all kind of metaphors for how we're behaving. It's now actually a fucking... it's a real fucking come to life. But yeah, your man had to apologise because people were texting in to the TV station going, hey, this is fucking woeful, carry on. You fucking sexy dolls up there now. What I would do is I'd keep them lads' numbers and I'd text them back going, how do you fucking know what it is? How do you know too well? Yeah. Because as your man looked at him and went, Arsh, they're just very lifelike mannequins. He didn't realise that they had a working vagina and a working arsehole as well. You know,
right. I'd say he knows now, though, I'd say. Christ.
But them yokes are, I was looking this up then, them yokes are a woeful price. Like, entry level is like $4,000. So how in the fuck? Apparently the company made a mistake and they went, oh, Jesus, we sent you 2 lorry loads of fucking sex dolls by accident. We sent you. Do you know, how in the fuck did he make that? Yeah. Ferocious.
I don't know, but so they were meant to just get regular mannequins, but they actually sent over sex dolls.
Yeah, with their mouths open, like...
Oh.
Like...
Christ above. Jesus, I don't know. That's a funny one. They're big into their sex dolls out there in the likes of Korea and Japan, it seems. But I don't know. I'm sure they'll catch on over this way. Who knows?
There's some queer tastes over there. If you ever... Did you ever hear of Whitney Cummings, the comedian?
Yes, yeah.
Her special on Netflix, she spent some money. She gave, I don't know, was it close to $10,000 to have an...
I seen it.
Did you see it? The closer. Her closer was fucking
I thought that was given to her. What was that about? Did she bring that thing on stage?
That's her closer for her special. Not to give it away to anybody who's going to watch the Whitney Cummings. She's a brilliant comedian, and her closer was that. And it's fucking mind-blowing because she uses this doll talking to it and stuff. And it sounds like her.
Yeah.
And looks identical because she kind of looks a bit fucking made up anyway. She looks a bit strange anyway. But the fucking doll is her. She gave 10 grand for that job.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen a few thumbnails of that, and I didn't really know what was going on. I just thought it was a one-off gag, but I thought someone had given it to her. So she went and bought that for 10 grand.
Yeah, but she knew her Netflix special would probably bag her fucking $1 million. You know what I mean?
True. Plus, it's a good talking point, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about it here, so it's well worth watching. Like, because you'll see how she does her closer with the doll in the end. So she must to practice that. She must have brought that around to theaters all over the fucking country. She must have brought that fucking yoke with her everywhere. Fucking.
I think she might have taken off. I think I seen her. She had the head taken off it, and she was bringing it around to a few gigs here and there. I think.
Yeah. All right. Was that it? She didn't bring the full body.
I think so.
Because the full body
would have been too much to be bringing across the bypass.
I mean, I always feel sorry for comedians that show up with like a guitar on their back and stuff and go, look at that cunt of a thing on your back, having to haul that everywhere with you. Like, do you know?
Oh, well, Tom, in fairness, and I learned a fucking good lesson. I used to bring laptops and I bring 5 different changes of clothes and I bring laser beams and everything. I was like, oh, fuck. Looking back now, I had too much stuff with me on the road and I'm going to draw it all back now. And for this next couple of gigs I do, wherever they may be, I'm going to just keep it myself in the microphone.
Yeah, well, you're funny enough without it. And if you're not singing, I don't believe you need to be bringing a load of that shite with you, like, you know.
No, you don't. Definitely not. No.
The Asians do have some strange sex fucking things, all right, but it's a weird one because they have these sex motels that you can rent by the hour. Did you ever see these?
No.
Oh, they're fucking brilliant.
Well, how do they work?
They've teamed house, you know, because hookers they're plentiful, and they have these little hotels, and you can't stay in them for the night, like, because it wouldn't be worth their while unless you're going to pay the money. But they've like little themed rooms, like, so they'd have a room themed from maybe Bruce Lee movie. They'd have a room themed from, say, a jungle or whatever, and they might have a room themed for space. And you can bring the one, in there, and basically, or you can bring the fellow, whatever you've hired, and you could tip in there and pay fucking hourly. And I was trying to think, like, what would an Irish fella want as a team of a room? Like, your typical fucking Irish fella. What would the
bog? Couple of bags of turf in the corner, maybe, and some lad on the whistle. And every 10 minutes, someone comes over the flask and a few sandwiches. They're kinky enough, though. That's what I do like about the Asians. They're fairly kinky.
There's a one there. She's a model. She kind of looks anime. I'd say she had the eyes opened up a bit too, because a lot of them get that job done. Whereas, you know, they get the eyes opened up a bit. But she's the whole, you know, pink pigtail stuff. She took a bath. She took a fucking bath live stream to her washing herself in the bath. But she was in her togs and all the rest of it. And then she sold the bathwater to lads by the fucking cup. Yeah, sold it. And the lads bought. I mean, there's one thing you hear at these OnlyFans things, you know, it's just a big thing at the minute. Like, maybe we'll do an OnlyFans ourselves. We'll go topless or something, on make a fucking make at least a tenner for the two of us. Anyway, I'd say somewhere.
Like, you know. By the way, Tom, those are OnlyFans. How does that work? Are they streaming on YouTube and then getting donations only to certain people, or how is it Twitch?
I assume it's Twitch. I don't honestly know, but it's an unlisted way. You only get it by paying. I'm assuming there's a site called OnlyFans, I'm guessing, and you log in as a proprietor of a part of it, much like Patreon or whatever, and people pay. And I don't know to what limit do you tog off? Do you start fucking pulling yourself? Well, I'm assuming.
I think it goes the full shebang, as far as I know. I heard that on Snapchat. There's parts of it like where you can do OnlyFans and people can like sell a bit of smoke or something like that through that, you know, or do a bit of taking off the togs, as you say.
Oh, right.
Getting the baps out, you know? So there must be, I mean, there's obviously like a lot more women doing it, because I don't think that the women are as fucking
filthy
perverted as the men.
Don't sell yourself short on. We can make a fortune yet off some lonely fucking, you know, or women more so.
Well, I mean, if anyone wants to do it, we can.
More so out of intrigue, maybe, to see what we do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just
yeah. Tell you what, though, if you're getting paid, I don't know what they get, but if you're getting paid like 50 quid an hour, or a few different lads, I suppose, are sending in money or whatever, like, you'd probably handy fucking few quid, no?
Tis, I suppose, if you can dump all morals, you know what I mean? If you can just go, you're not telling the parents where you got the new car from, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know,
yeah, it's a tricky one, I suppose, because your parents are going to find out eventually. So it'd be like, you know, how are you driving around in a 5 Series BMW? I'm getting the flute out for the fans only. And you can do the same for £5 a night. Good night, Mum and Dad. I know, I don't know though. Honestly, I do not know. But I don't know. At the same time, if you can make money off it, fuck it, you're dead right. But, you know.
Yeah, I suppose in this day and age, who gives a fuck? Like when sugardaddy.com broke the mold. But that's one for another. I've written that down somewhere. That's one for, I'm going to pick your brain about sugar daddy and all them things. Moving on to a subject that I want to ask you about. This is because we both have an obsession with fucking, you know, all things fucking Joe Rogan, i.e. MMA. He's the king of fucking podcasts and everything else. And we this is a segment, and I don't know, will it go any further than tonight, but there's a segment we like to call Finding Joe. And it turns out that Joe has actually not been sticking to the guidelines at all. And that man has been moving around the world something fierce. He's recording, apparently, all those podcasts he's doing, did them months ago. They're all pre-records. Because I have a letter in here, Owen. I don't know why I struggle to say Owen there. But we got a letter, would you believe it, to Harden Up headquarters here. Somebody actually wrote it. Turns out that
sent it to base.
Now, I don't know how legit this is, but if somebody's going to write a letter, I assume it's a lot more legit than just a Snapchat or whatever.
Apparently, is it handwritten?
Handwritten.
Wow.
Yeah,
kudos there. That's fair play.
You almost never see it anymore. It's an archaic it's a dying thing. Apparently, Joe Rogan, and I'm putting this to you because you're sharper than I am when it comes to these things, to source out the legitimacy of this. Joe Rogan was spotted at 2 miles outside the town of Belturbet in County Cavan, backing up silage with a John Deere tractor with a buck rake on the back of it. but to quote Tony Riley, the farmer who had him working for him, he said, "Sure, 'tis grand," says Tony, "'tis absolutely grand. We're paying him fuck all because he's a Yank and he didn't work 2 fucks at driving that yoke." End quote. Now, put it to you, in this Finding Joe, how legitimate is there any substance to this? Could Joe Rogan be in Belturbet?
He could, but it depends on a few different things. It depends on if the fella that's drawn the bales and Joe Rogan's third eyes have both synchronized and he's stepped into a different reality through the process of a dream while on DMT, while getting massaged by Brendan Schlabb. So it's very possible. But I don't know if it's possible. Well, it is possible, but I'd love to see Joe Rogan in a tractor drawing bales for lads. That's my dream. That's actually my new dream.
See, I knew you'd be able to come up with an existential reason as to why Joe Rogan wasn't Belturbet. So there you have it. That's the shortened version of it. I'm sure we'll extrapolate it as more letters come in here to the HQ. As more letters come in, I'm sure we'll be able to extrapolate it much further than that. But I like the idea of him being dimensional. Probably with, as you said, DMT, maybe a bit of ayahuasca. Probably with the help of fucking Alex Jones. I like it, and it's totally believable. So thank you, Tony Murphy, Esquire, for sending. He wrote.
Thank you very much, Tony Murphy. That's it. Big shout out to Tony Murphy for sending in the handwritten letter, because, as you said, it's a dying art, and it's nice to see a man's hand and what it can do. you please regale me. Please put me. I'm not in a bad form, but I'm just in a kind of a docile middle ground place at the minute. But I'd love to be regaled with another story of Owen's, please. Well, I was thinking about telling you the story about the time, because America is a wild place, but and sometimes when you're in Ireland, you think that Ireland's wild, and it's wild in its own way. But myself and a few mates, 2 mates, French Toast being one of them, and the other lad was we call him Kevin, but his name is Alan.
I love the notion that somebody could be listening to this that never once heard of the Hardy Bucks, and they're going, "What? He brought French toast with him?"
Yeah, well, if there's any Yanks out there listening to this, it's French Toast is he's like Bill Murray on steroids.
Yeah.
I don't know how you describe him. But maybe Bill Murray Stone. Well, then again, probably Bill Murray smokes weed. So he's a bit like Ireland's version of Bill Murray.
Yeah, he wears a pork pie hat and a leather jacket, and he's wistful. I believe the likes of you and French Toast especially, I think you're in tune with. I think you're like do you know what? If French Toast could be compared to anything, I think he's a fucking aborigine of Ireland. You could plug that man is plugged into the earth. I think he is. He's like the Pied Piper. Yeah, exactly. So you brought
you'd see him French Toast came along. Like in French Toast, the thing about him is he's a great storyteller. So like if you're ever going to a pub and you see French Toast, no matter even if you're in a pub full of headers, he's a great way of sort of getting all the boys around him and telling good stories. He's a great storyteller. But himself, anyways, another fella. We went over to the States and we were all excited. One of our first times going over, and I think one of us even had. I wrote this. We were that excited, taking pictures of the plane and just having the crack on the way over. Just really excited, just like jingling money in the pocket and whispering into each other's ears how excited we were. And then we landed into New York then with JFK. My cousin was there. My cousin looks like me, except he's twice me. So he's the same height as me, but he's twice as wide as me, and he's got tattoos of St. Patrick down his arm, and he's like, he loves Ireland more than me. And he was like, "Hey, cuz, how you doing?" And he met me at the airport, gave me a big, massive hug. And he goes, "You guys want to throw your bag somewhere, or do you want to go straight to the bar?" So we're like, we just throw the bag somewhere because we don't want to be losing our clothes on the first night. Like, might leave that to the second night. But then we just went down straight to an Irish pub. And everything, as I said before, everything in America is massive. His truck was massive with a big Dodge Viper engine in it. We went into what's that place? Taco Bell. Got a big feed for ourselves, and then went into the pub there, and a massive bouncer on this Irish pub door. And then it seemed like everyone kind of looked around. He goes, "Oh, hey!" And for some reason they knew we're Irish. Maybe because we had 3 big potato heads in us or something. But then we started sitting down drinking Guinness. And to cut a long story short, Steve, I'll never forget the words he said to me. He was like, "Guys, just so you know, right, that like Ireland is a great place and it's like beautiful. You can go to villages and have drinks and you can go out and double." And he goes, "Over here, things are a bit more sort of, people are a bit more," he didn't say nasty, but he said something along the lines of like, it's not as safe over here, basically. Right. And he was like, like you guys, so he was pretty much saying like, you guys don't be too green over here. Like, don't be be cute, basically. Yeah. Even though like we're cute enough, like, but still he was kind of like, just be cute, guys. Because the guys over here don't give a fuck for anyone. Because we were driving down a couple of different alleyways at one point, and he kept putting the lock on the car, on the front seat, like, and because he was going through like a dodgy old neighborhood, Right. But anyways, then we got about 6 or 7 pints into us, and we decided we'd go quarters or something like that on a box of 40 Marlboro Red, and we started smoking, then going outside smoking, and then we were just looking around at everything. There was like, lights, and there was people crossing the street, and there was lads pushing trolleys, and there was lads juggling, and grannies getting bummed. Well, I wasn't grannies getting bummed, but you could imagine that in the corner. But then some like lads kept coming up.
I can't.
Lads. Well, if you had enough pints in New York and you're smoking Marlboro Red, you might cross your mind a small bit. But
right.
We just kept going outside, basically. But then, like, every time we go outside, some lad, however they knew it in New York, they'd constantly pass us, and they'd be like, "You guys Irish?" We're like, "Yeah, we are. Jesus Christ, how we doing?" And then they come over and they have some sort of story. We're like, "Oh, I was in the army with the Irish. Those guys are the best guys ever." Or else they tell you a different story, like I was in the Marines with the Irish, or I worked in a pub with the Irish, or I used to box with the Irish. They all had a story about the Irish. And just to show how naive we were, at the time I was like, how does all these people know fucking Irish people? But at the end of every conversation, they'd always say the same thing. "Can we get a few dollars off you?" So, yeah, we'd end up having to get a few dollars out, give them a few dollars every time, like just $3 or $4 each. But like every time then we go back into the pub, my cousin Steve, like, "You got to stop fucking doing it." We're like, "No, shit, the crack is 90 out there." But no, that's pretty much it, really. Like, I mean, the story, like, we pretty much ended up getting fairly wasted that night. But it's a great. It just kind of showed me that, like, if you ever did live in New York, it'd turn you into a hard bastard, because it seems like it's a kind of not a rough city, but it's a cutthroat.
But sure, I mean, you pack 10 million people into any spot, it's going to be like Mega City fucking 1 in fucking Judge Dredd. You know what I mean? You have to be a coward cunt, like, you know what I mean? How are you doing for time there?
It's half. I'll have to shoot off now in about 2 minutes.
Just to cap off your innocent story, when we lived in Boston, we were looking for accommodation for a month. We were living on floors with all jobs, couldn't fucking find accommodation anywhere. And one of the boys' girlfriends was in a house full of girls, and she was searching for us. We went to all these fuckholes of places. We went to visiting fucking place you wouldn't put a dog. And it wasn't until she came home all excited one day. She says, "Lads, I'm after finding you a place. I met a woman on the bus. She puts up lodgers all the time." So over we went to meet this one in a beautiful neighbourhood, beautiful house. This old one opens the door to us. She was in a kind of a nighty looking thing, and the two boys are being innocent about it altogether, but I could smell drink off this one, like in the middle of the day. Yeah. I says, fucking hell, right? So she brings us in around the house. She goes, "Absolutely, I love Irish lads. I'm Irish myself." She says, I'll show you the rooms. I'll show you the whole lot. I walked around to the basement. The basement was fucking kitted out. It's a pure man cave. Huge telly, fucking lazy boys, PlayStation, the whole lot. Next thing we met her two sons. Her sons are about 19 and 20. And they had the head down. They barely spoke to us. They're like, "Hey, what's happening?" And they were packing their bags. It's just, the boys are going off surfing, and the few pounds you'll pay me then. She only wanted about 50 quid a week off us. We knew that's grand, but we're smelling a rat, and we fucked off anyway. She says, "Come back this evening now with your bags and to be the finest." So in we came that evening, and the excitement had kicked in. We were after fucking looking out. We were after getting this place for half nothing with a man cave. Yeah. We were living with an old nana that was going to make us sandwiches. And the two lads were gone anyway. They were nowhere to be seen. Suddenly we were downstairs anyway, and I had the fucking boots kicked off, the whole lot, firing up. And the fucking lazy boy had a fridge in it and everything, cracking open the beer. Nice. We're all drinking beer, playing the PlayStation. Lads, high-fiving. It wasn't until this huge big cunt came down the stairs, right? This big Mexican fellow with a bigger moustache than me in his vest, big belly on him, big strong-looking fucker. He says, "Can I fucking help you guys?" I says, "Area, sure, Martha's after putting us up there." He says, Martha's my ex-wife. She's stone fucking crazy. She does this shit every fucking week. He says, "Listen, boys," and your man had a gun and everything, like he just fucking big pistol on his fucking. He says, "Listen, boys," he said, "you're lucky lads that you're Irish, and he said, I would have shot you on fucking sight." He says, "Now put your fucking shoes back on and get the fuck out of my house." He says, so there we were.
Sometimes in America, you don't even get one chance,
That was us literally just about dodging a fucking bullet. Poor old Martha, she was stone cracked. Apparently, she was bringing home lads day in, day out. She was fucking. But most lads don't get past the initial fucking meeting. They cop the smell of drink off you one. But sure, of course, we were so fucking innocent. We went, sure, she's going to look after us for the rest of the summer. Yeah, it'll be great. That's the
thing. But then again, when you meet the Irish lads that are over there, they've assimilated into this, because it's a different kind of speed. Because when Americans come over to Ireland, you could say something to them that clearly seems like it's a joke, but they'll look at you like, "Sorry, what?" But like, it's kind of the same when you go over to America. It takes you about 2 or 3 weeks to kind of get into the crack and how to kind of get their sort of attitude to comedy and everything, really. Like, even how they converse.
Yeah, the irony is kind of lost on them a small bit. Like, they don't have the crack that we have. I mean, you'll never find a man walking around called fucking Toasteen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially like if there's lads like with guns, like you're kind of always a bit wary. That's not going to put you in good form if you're thinking there could be a lad in that apartment block there with the gun. Like, you in Ireland, at least you're kind of thinking, well, the worst that's going to happen is you get in a fight, really,
Yeah, exactly. So, you have to skedaddle off. You probably have to do 9 more fucking podcasts. I did a podcast just before this one that apparently you were just on. I'm doing a podcast tomorrow night that apparently you've just been on. Or you're going
Which one was that?
To something about a ball or something.
Yeah. I'm doing that next week, next Monday.
Right, I'm free to say. Why don't we just put a memo out to everybody on? Just kill 2 birds with one stone. Kill 2 crows with one stone. We'll get it fucking tattooed under our chin. fucking interviews at the same time. It'll be just as much, if not more, crap.
I think everyone is doing the rounds with the different podcast interviews.
They are.
Seems to be the crack at the moment.
Well, look, they kill two fucking birds with one stone. They just got us on. You take the crow talk. I take the spud talk.
Why don't they I think they should just do one massive podcast in Ireland where everyone in the country's on it. Everyone's got a microphone and everyone's just chatting.
Turn into a fucking pub.
Exactly.
Right. That has been Harden Up Podcast number 10. We got it to 10, boys and girls, and we will be fucking striving on. We're getting harder, as Owen says. We want you to subscribe if it's your first time. Listen, go back and listen to all the rest of them. Of course, give us a tasty rating, or if you can't do any of that stuff, just tell your mother about it. You know what I mean? Maybe just put it into her hand. Just go, Nemme. Put it into her claw, as Owen would say. Put it into her nighty fucking pocket.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just, I don't know how you...
Your Mammy, open up the claw there. I've got something for you.
I don't know
how... her 20 quid and say, when the room there now, stick on the podcast radio.
Exactly. Throw her ears up the internet to listen to the two boys talk fucking scutter for an hour to an hour and a half. Owen, it's been delicious Tom, as always, and I'll talk to you next week.
Take care, Tom. We'll chat to you soon. Good luck, everybody. Give us the 5 stars, please.
Good luck.